Good morning, my dear students of class 8th. I welcome you all to this class of social science where we have already completed the chapter. But since there was some technical issue related to sound, I am here to recapitalize the previous work again. Children, in the first class, we saw the introduction of the chapter that how dates are so important to us. Okay, then we saw which dates are actually important, wherein we have shown our interest on what events only those days were important and they were recorded. Then after which dates, children, we saw that how do we periodize. We divided the time, the important events into certain periods, right? Then after periodization, we saw what is colonial. Children, to understand what is colonial, colonial is the time, the era when Britishers have ruled over us in terms of social, cultural, economic aspects. Children, to make it understand, in a simpler way, the Britishers have forced Indians to sell goods at very low prices. Then they purchase the goods also very less prices. The Britishers, changed our culture. They change our customs. They have ruined our economy. They have exploited our natural resources. All right. So all these events, all these practices of the Britishers comes under colonial time. So when Britishers have ruled over us, that era, that time is known as colonial period. Now, how do we know that Britishers have done so with us? Children, how do we know that so and so era had seen so many events? Historians rely on different sources. Children, there are different sources to see, to get into some time period. For example, the administration records, records which were being maintained by the administrative officers at the time of Britishers. So whatever important policies, whatever important rules, documents the Britishers introduced, they wanted all these policies, all these rules to be recorded and administered properly. Therefore, the administrative records, they have given us a clear picture, because the Britishers were in a view that each and every policy and agreement which Britishers used to sign had to be recorded somewhere. Therefore, administrative records hold very much importance because they tell us so many things about that time. Now, second source, what happened during that time? Not just Britishers used to record like that, they used to call calligraphists. Your children, calligraphists are those who write very beautifully. So these writers were hired to maintain the records and write all these information in a very beautiful manner, children. Okay, then surveys also became very important. How do you get to know that this place is very good for cultivation of wheat? Because you must have surveyed that land, you must have investigated, you must have studied about that land, that this soil is suitable for wheat or sugarcane, the temperature here is suitable, the rainfall is sufficient. Therefore, surveys are the detailed reports about any particular thing. Therefore, Britishers used to ask for surveys, and then surveys became very important. The practice of survey became important during the time of Britishers. They wanted to know India in order to administer it properly. When you want to administer a place, won't you like to get all the information about that place? So, through surveys, they used to get so much of information, because they got to know so many things through surveys. Like, they tried to find out about the complete mapping of India. Then they used to know about the quality of the soil to grow different crops. Then they found about the flora and fauna. Flora means plants, fauna means animals. Then children, they try to find out the local history of a place. They found the local history of a place. And children, because of these reasons, survey became very important at the colonial time. Now, surveys also conducted these many things. Number one, botanical survey. Then second type of survey was archaeological survey related to deep excavation archaeological sites, botanical, archaeological, forest survey, survey done over forest, and zoological survey about the animals. So children, we can see that we could get lot of information through different sources like surveys done by the Britishers. But was this only sufficient to know about the history of India? Was this sufficient? No, there are so many things. All right, children. Now let us see what surveys and administrative records did not tell us. And this is the last heading of the chapter, which is what surveys, yeah, or what official records do not tell us. Official records, no doubt tell us so much of information because the Britishers wanted to convey this information only. All right, but we should know that these surveys were recorded according to the point of view of the Britishers. What common people used to think, we did not get to know. And to find out that, we can help, we can take the help, and we can know that what country used to feel when Britishers started ruling us. What were the ideas, what were the views of different people of India? We can get to know through these many ways. Number one, diaries of the people. Children, at that time when Britishers started ruling us, people were in a habit of writing diaries. So reading some diaries, we will get to know the common man's feeling, what actually they were feeling from within. Then children, autobiographies. People used to write about themselves, their complete life history, what they served, what they did. So autobiographies are also important way to know about that common man's life. Then travelers account. When travelers used to visit our country, they used to write books about our country, so travelers account. Then children, popular booklets, newspapers, and ideas of leaders at that time, what they wrote, what they conveyed. So all these ways are also adding up in knowing about our past. So children, with this we complete the chapter. I hope the chapter is understood by everybody. See you all in the next class. But again, I'm reminding you about the written verb. Like you have been doing in the previous classes, you will maintain one common copy for history and civics. I will repeat, one common copy for history and civics, wherein you will divide the copy into two parts. First part of the copy will be history, second part of the copy will be civics, and the copy will be single ruled copy. No interleave copy you are going to make for social science. Then one separate copy for geography, which will be single lined copy, no interleave copy. So one thick copy for history civics and one normal length copy for geography. So two copies you have to prepare, and in the next class I will send the questions and answers which you need to do in your copies. So thank you so much children, have a nice day, see you all in the next class.